Tech Tuesday, and we all, you know, probably armed with a smartphone right about now. We all take so many photos with our phones. There's yours, Juan. Most of us probably never go back and look at the camera phone, right, and to see what you've taken. So how do we take smartphone photos which are actually worth looking at and sharing? We got Juan Carlos Bagno, literally who wrote the book on phone to what's it called?
Phone photography.
Phone photography.
Take
there
better
we go.
photos.
Yeah, take better photos. Thanks for that. He has some really simple tips to help you get the most out of this phone camera this summer, because we want to use all these photos. So Juan, welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, our phone cameras have gotten so much better over the last couple of years. We can use them in any way that we would have normally been using regular standalone cameras. One of the things you really want to do, though, is spend some time getting a feel for the phone. You don't want to be learning how to use the camera when you're trying to take that photo of your kid's recital. So one of the things we're going to look at today, right now, this is an Android device. This is an LG. Most Android devices.
And then I'm going to ask about iPhone, because a lot of people have that, and I have that.
But for most Android devices, they will have a full collection of manual modes where you can very granularly control every aspect of the photo. The lighting. So something like shutter speed is great for capturing a toddler in action.
And I want to make sure this is the screen where you can actually see what we are doing. Okay, so go ahead and move that mode so that we can see what you're talking about.
And you can, the faster the shutter, the better you'll freeze action, but then less light will get in, so your photo is going to get darker. Then you have something called ISO. And ISO is the sensitivity of the camera, how much light it can collect.
Wow.
And so you can do some really interesting things. If you control those two aspects, you can go in and take like a really long exposure where you can get these like light streaks over a freeway. Or if you're at like a soccer match for your child, you don't want that blurry shot as the phone's trying to autofocus in that moment. You want
that little yellow square that most people are familiar with.
You want to freeze that action, exactly. You don't want to wait for the phone, so you can preset this kind of stuff. The iPhone doesn't come with these settings out of the box, but there are third-party apps that you can install to replace the camera that can do some of this functionality. So you were asking about fireworks photos.
Right, because the 4th of July is coming up. I'm always that one that's like this, and the firework is always, you know, kind of blurry, and then we're blurry too, so it never really balances out. The firework is going off, you're tapping to focus, but by the time the phone focuses, the firework is gone. So if you have manual modes, you can preset your focus, and you can lock it in, and then you don't have to wait for the phone to figure out where the focus is locked. So let's talk about lighting right now, because I want to show just a couple of examples of what we're talking about. Jessica Rose here from SheReallyHadABaby.com took some photos that are really great examples of getting the best shot while using the best lighting possible.
Her work on the iPhone portrait mode is very formidable. And
look at that. Look at the green grass. Look at the colors come to life.
What I really want to point out here isn't necessarily the color, but look at where the shadow is falling behind her child. The light is perfect on her face. And that's what you want to kind of keep an eye out for, is how the better the light, the better your photo is going to be. So if you're in a dark restaurant, you want to get that perfect food shot. Move a candle closer to your plate. You need that light so you can get the better photo.
You know, this photo is very sharp too, and you said portrait mode. So is that going to be the best mode when it comes to having one, you know, the iPhone?
For the iPhone and for a lot of the newer Android phones that are following this feature, it's a great tool in your arsenal, because what it's going to do is the computer in your phone is going to cut out the subject and then blur the background. So your subject, her daughter, is super sharp, but the background is not distracting from her daughter there.
Okay, so I was also asking Alex, he doesn't have portrait mode on his iPhone. It's not the newest and greatest one. What would you suggest for someone like that?
So then you really want to play with composition. And that's I think the last important step is, how many photos have you seen of people just kind of like standing there, I'm going to take a photo of my kid? Well, we're adults, we look at the world that way.
That's so that's perspective.
That's your perspective.
That's your third
your
tip.
Composition. And so that's the most boring way to take a photo. So instead of like kind of looking down from on high on your subject, get down on your subject's level.
So like if I'm going to take a picture of your shoes, it's best to kind of
I mean, you can take this shot, but if you get low with your subject, that's going to be a much more interesting look, because that's not how we see the world normally.
I see.
So that's how we like to shake things up and move to different levels, especially for kids.
So to find out more about Juan's book and also share some of these tips with someone you know, remember, we're talking about lighting, we're talking about perspective, we're talking about portrait mode, you know, all those bad photos. Just go to foxla.com so we can clean them all up. We'll also put this on FoxLA. That way folks can start sharing. And hey, share your nice portrait shots with us as well.
Absolutely.
Back to you guys. Alex?